The time has come. The time has come where we must speak in our hearts. For words cannot do justice to all that which needs to be spoken to you by me and spoken to me by you. We all knew a time will come when we must find our God within ourselves. We were prepared for it. And so, the time has come to turn within and to listen to that voice within in the silence of our hearts. This is not sudden. This is not unannounced. This is not a surprise. Much has been spoken in all these years. The same truth through different mouths. And truth is, after all, only one. In how many ways can you tell about it? And in how many ways can you hear it? Therefore, we all the people, all the devotees around the world, the youth, the students, must now practice to listen to your own consciousness that speaks to you in the silence of your own heart. And that consciousness is just one and the same. We have named it, we have labeled it in different ways. We called it the saint of Shirdi. We called it the god of Puttaparthi. We call it the guru in Mudanhalli. But all of it is one and the same voice of the same consciousness that speaks to each one of us within our own selves. Srinivas said, God is essentially a teacher. He plays many roles, but the most important role of God is to teach mankind to go within. And He may use several ways. It could be meditation, it could be seva, it could be bhajan, it could be satsang, it could be anything. But all these are ways to go within, not without. And so the task in this phase is to teach everyone to go within. We can no more afford to be children who need to be told, pushed, and even punished. We need to take it upon ourselves for our own highest good that we must turn within. The task of a teacher that's on my shoulder demands that I ensure that these students learn their lessons in this very lifetime And therefore, the time has come for us to learn this, put all our efforts and turn within. I know it will be too much if it happens all of a sudden, but know for sure that it is going to gradually and surely reduce till only silence remains. And this I must do, whether someone likes it or not, whether someone is comfortable or not, whether that pleases or not, the time has come. And therefore, we must learn to listen to our own voice of consciousness within. And that is the task for this phase of the mission. I do not want to scare you, but I know our conversations will be much more joyful when it is in the privacy of our own hearts than in public. And you will enjoy it, being in touch with your consciousness. And don't try to give it a name or a form. Which does not have one, don't create one. Beyond the Shirdi, Patti, Mudanali and the future places, there is that principle, there is that presence which needs to be recognized. And that is the task for us. So I would be only telling the obvious, that naturally there will be longer silences and lesser speeches. And I told you about it. I told you on the very first day I arrived in this place. This is how the future is going to be. We must work our salvation in silence. We must do our service in silence. We must tread this path of spirituality in silence. The silence of our hearts, where God speaks to each one of us the same way. And this is what I was telling about, that it's a very significant day. If that form of Sathya Sai was here in the physical, this would have been the last physical birthday. Thereafter, it would only be lessons in silence. It is His compassion that He chose to continue doing what He had got to do till now, till this day. It's just another year or so at best. After which, it's up to us. Not up to the Guru, not up to God. It's up to us as individuals to work our way into our own hearts. Yes, our scriptures state that avatars happen, God does incarnate, that unmanifest consciousness does manifest. But beyond all the manifestations, there lies this principle, the truth, in which we are all one. There is nobody ascending, nobody descending. We just are. And that is the time which is arrived. To recognize this, to rise and to realize this. And that is the task ahead. Service projects will happen. They are natural, spontaneous expressions of one's own spiritual depths. It does not need for any motivation other than being in tune with the whole creation, feeling the oneness in all. That will spontaneously drive these service projects. That's not the main task. The task is to make each one of us turn within, Connect to that divinity which is within, and don't look for crutches outside. When your own 2 feet are good enough to stand, you don't need support. A baby needs one to hold the finger of the father or mother to walk. If father's hold goes, it catches on to the mother. But it is time now that the baby has grown, it can walk on its own 2 feet. Therefore, this is all that is. So expect less speeches, more silence, more of self-introspection, connecting to the self within, than looking for cues without. And that is the mission here onwards. To all the devotees who are there watching, I know it is already bad enough that you could not come. And then I tell you that I will speak less. But I did not say I would not visit you, I would not meet you. We will meet. We will visit each other. But not the way it was in the last few years, but more in our hearts. And don't be afraid that it is too tough, or it's going to be not as happy as what it is today. Not true. You will know that it's far more blissful. It is far more joyful. Beyond the names and forms that we have been celebrating so very passionately, eagerly, sincerely, there lies this truth, which unfortunately gets avoided. And that truth needs to be brought out. That truth needs to be understood. That truth of our oneness has to be realized. I shall do whatever is being told to me, but largely the work of mine in particular is definitely not building schools and hospitals. That is a part of it, not the whole of it, not the core of it. The core of this mission is to help each one turn within till they don't need me anymore. And if I fail to make you independent of me, then I would have failed in my mission. And that is the task I must not fail in. That is what has been ordained to me. And so I am clear of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. We will celebrate not one day in the year or 2 days or 10. We will celebrate every day. We shall celebrate every moment of our existence in our oneness. And that is the future. Guidance will be there. There will be rewards, and there also will be reprimands. But more importantly, there is this way forward where we all have to turn within. Anyway, somewhere around this time, even otherwise, this is what would have happened. When the form and name would have disappeared, and we would have had no choice but to turn within. It's only His benevolence, His grace, that He allowed this to happen gradually, slowly, so that we were able to accept it, assimilate it. Every moment is divine, Every day is divine. Every year is divine. Everyone is divine. Everything is divine. And therefore, till we realize this, our task is not done. It was to happen. It will happen. It is happening. Love does not need words. Love does not need meetings. Love does not need celebrating. Love is sufficient unto itself. And therefore, this love that we share as one with each other, being one in that divinity, does not need any external ways or support. You would know that we love each other. You would know that I love you all and you all love me. I just know. I don't need to be told. You don't need to be reassured. We must find that within. And that is what I am going to do in particular. God is in all. You are God. That is the way. Enough said.